Hey everybody, I'm Justin with AmericanMuscle.com, and today we're taking a closer look at and installing MBRP's 3-inch Armor Pro race version catback, available for all 2015 through 2023 non-active exhaust-equipped EcoBoost Mustangs. Now, the Armor Pro here with the carbon fiber tips is MBRP's absolute top-of-the-line system when talking about the company's rather expansive lineup, and will include things like a premium build quality 304 grade stainless, very unique carbon fiber tips, and a very aggressive tone thanks to the race version mufflers here. And it's all backed, by the way, by a limited lifetime warranty. All right, so let's just get right into the sound clips you can expect here with the MBRP bolted up. And as I just mentioned, guys, you're getting a lot of sound, a lot of volume out of the MBRP Armor Pro, thanks largely to those race version mufflers. So breaking out my Wake the Neighbor scale, I gotta do it. I gotta go with a full pull 5 out of 5 here on my 1 to 5 or 1 to Wake the Neighbor scale. Now, despite the loudness of this system, which it certainly does provide you plenty of, it does still maintain a deeper tone overall, and that's something that's pretty consistent with a lot of MBRP systems. And to be honest, that's not always easy when we're talking about the EcoBoost cars, where things can get a bit raspy, a bit higher pitched pretty easily, maybe with other aftermarket systems. Now, also worth noting with this thing installed, some of the pops and kind of cracks coming down off the revs. I like it. I think it sounds great. Certainly adds to the aggressiveness overall. Now, getting back to that deeper tone overall, that is something that might find its way inside the car once cruising here. In fact, MBRP themselves will give owners a heads up by saying, expect a moderate to aggressive note inside the car with this system installed, and I do think that's true. Now, moving into construction, and as we talked about earlier, this system really does check all the boxes in regards to being a premium, top of the food chain system, especially when you start comparing this to other MBRP offerings for the EcoBoost cars. Now, to start, again, this is the Armor Pro, so therefore you are getting that top of the line 304 grade stainless steel throughout. Definitely the best system when it comes to resisting or preventing long-term corrosion. Now, that material does receive a lifetime warranty from MBRP because, again, of its corrosion resistance. Now, besides the actual material itself, you are receiving 3-inch mandrel bent tubing here, including your Y-pipe, as you can see right here, in addition to your embossed race series mufflers. And then the exclamation point, cherry on top, whatever you want to call it here, are going to be your 4-inch tips that do have a 304 grade stainless kind of core, if you will, but those are covered with a unique carbon fiber sleeve kind of riveted into place there. And then again, you do have the MBRP logo as well in white. Really cool look here. Certainly is a very high quality look, and something you don't see a lot in the aftermarket with some of these systems. Now, with all of that premium materials, carbon fiber, 304 grade stainless, lifetime warranty, the MBRP Armor Pro here with the carbon tips is gonna land you just north of that $1,100 to $1,200 price point. Again, making this the most expensive system coming out of the MBRP camp. But with that being said, you get all of that good stuff, guys, and it's still gonna be far more affordable when you compare this to other more premium systems from Corsa, Magnaflow, Borla. So I would say overall, this is certainly going to be a great value when you're shopping for a premium system. Now, with all that being said too, if you live in a very nice area, Florida, California, you don't see a lot of road salt, you don't necessarily have to get into the 304 grade stainless if you don't need it. And what I mean by that is, if you're not seeing a lot of road salt, you're not gonna have to worry about that corrosion as much. At that point, I could probably start recommending you into a system like the Armor Light from MBRP. Still gonna sound the same, you're just getting aluminized steel, and it's gonna cost roughly half the price of the Armor Pro. Or if you wanted to go one step above that, you could even get into the Armor Plus system, which is gonna give you that 409 instead of the 304 grade here. Still be a little bit more cost effective, but again, that is one of the nice things about MBRP. You do have a lot of different options depending on your budget. Now, installing most CapEx here, especially with the EcoBoost cars, pretty straightforward stuff. No cutting needed whatsoever, so expect a strong 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, and I would say at least an hour to complete from start to finish. Now, MBRP throws in everything needed for the install, all the quality clamps and everything you are going to need to bolt this puppy up. But to give you a better idea of how this one might go down in the garage or driveway at home, let's throw it out to the shop for our detailed walkthrough and tool breakdown.
The tools you'll need for this project are an impact gun or 1/2-inch drive ratchet, a long extension, a 13, a 14, and a 15mm socket. Hi everyone, today we're installing an exhaust on our Mustang, so let's get started by watching a short video on how to uninstall the stock exhaust.
Now, your obvious first step here, guys, is to lift and support your car, whether it be on jack and jack stands or in this case, a lift. Now, with the car up in the air, we're gonna start by removing the 2 13mm bolts, securing these brackets back here towards the rear of the car. Now we can move up to our clamp here that secures our factory cap back to our downpipe and loosen these 2 15mm nuts here. We don't have to remove them all the way. We just want to make sure we can loosen those enough to loosen this clamp up. So now with our forwardmost clamp loosened up, we're going to grab a buddy here, and what we're gonna do is get the exhaust off of the brackets here that secure it to the rear subframe, drop the front of the catback itself, and then at that point we can slide the rear of the factory catback out of these hangers.
All right, with our old system out of the way, we can go ahead and start installing our new one. First thing we're gonna do is reinstall the front clamp on this pipe here by slipping it on back in place, making sure, of course, that we line up our slot on the clamp with the little stud on the exhaust pipe. We'll go ahead and push that in. Now we can go ahead and install our Y-pipe, making sure, of course, that the support brace that's on the Y-pipe is at the bottom. Now with our pipe installed into the clamp, we'll go ahead and snug this clamp up using our 15mm socket. Next is going to be our under the axle pipe, followed by a clamp that's supplied in the kit. We'll slide that on first. And then also we're going to be reusing the 2 hangers that go right behind the differential. Now when you put these back onto the new pipe, you want to make sure that this little hook at the top is facing towards the front of the vehicle. So we'll go ahead and slide that on. Then we can slide our pipe into our Y-pipe, making sure that it's fully seated, and then we can reinstall our hanger back in the original location and secure it with the original hardware. Now we'll go ahead and snug up this clamp as well, making sure, of course, that the pipes are seated all the way in and that the clamp is at the very end of the pipes. So now that we've got that snugged up with our 15mm socket, we can go ahead and install our muffler. Now we'll slide one of the clamps over the muffler pipe. And you want to make sure when you install this that the nut on the clamp is got easy access, so I like to install it on this side of the under the axle pipe. Now you also want to make sure that the muffler that you're installing has the hanger coming towards the inside and is on the top of the muffler. Now we can go ahead and slide this into our hanger. And then slide this over or under the axle pipe. Now with that in place, we can go ahead and snug it up with our 15mm socket. And then finally, we can go ahead and install our exhaust tip, making sure, of course, that our logo is facing up and our clamp off to the side, just to make sure that it's easy to access. And go ahead and line that up where you want it. And then using your 14mm socket, go ahead and snug that up. And now you can repeat this whole process for the other side. All right, now that we've got our exhaust system completely installed, now's the time to double check your alignment, double check your clearances, make sure nothing's going to interfere with the exhaust. And then go ahead and, starting from the front, work your way to the back and tighten everything down as tight as you can get it to go ahead and make sure that it's going to seal right. And then before you actually fire it up, it's always a good idea to go ahead and take a clean cloth and some rubbing alcohol and just wipe down the entire system, especially anything that might be polished. That way, any oil or grease that's left on your hands from installing it gets wiped off and it doesn't burn into the system once it gets up to operating temperature. And that wraps up our review and install of the MBRP Armor Pro Catback exhaust with carbon fiber tips, race version, fitting your 2015 through 2023 Mustang EcoBoost Fastback without active exhaust. Thanks for watching, and remember, for all things Mustang, keep it right here at AmericanMuscle.com.